So let's put together a really simple sequencer based on some of the concepts that we've covered so far. I've got the notes of a C mixolydian scale, just to be a little bit different. And I've got a metro at the top. Let's make the rate of the metro half a second. And let's create a few arguments for it. So we'll send out, let's say, we'll make it faster. And we can also make it slower, real slow. And create a bang so that we can see the flashing of the metro. And actually, let me create one more tempo mod. Rearrange these logically. Okay, and I've got a toggle to start the metro, because remember the metro needs a 1 or a 0 to start or stop respectively. If I click the 250, it's actually going fast. If I click the 1500, every 1.5 seconds. So the idea is that I'm going to sequence these pitches below in a particular order. And to do this, we're going to use the counter object. Now there's actually a bunch of different ways to create a sequencer, a bunch of really efficient ways, but given all that we've learned so far, our repertoire is pretty limited. So I'll use the counter object. And what the counter object does is every time it receives a bang, it'll count upwards. Okay, there are 5 inlets and 4 outlets. Well, we could take a look at the help, but just trust me on this one. We're going to use the hot inlet. It'll start counting upwards. Create a number outlet, or a number atom rather. Lock the patcher. Let's see this thing count. So it's counting up. If I stop it, it'll keep counting. Okay, well, it's sending out bangs, so the idea is that I want to send out a cycle of, let's say, 8 steps. And I want this thing to repeat over and over and over. But I need to somehow control the counting so that it cycles around 8, and then it sends out bangs in a particular order. So what I'll do is I'll use a select. Just type the S for select, or SEL rather. And then I'll say select 0, 1, 2, 3. That's 4 positions, okay, because 0 is a value. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then it creates the number of outlets based on how many items you're going to select. And that's going to be in the middle of our patch here. I'll use a modulo of 8 in order to create a cycle. Connect the 15 or the number atom here to the 8. Let's make another number atom. I'm really not giving myself enough room here. That'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so just so that we know, we'll start it, and you can see how this is counting up again. Every time it reaches the 8th value, it starts back. So as you could guess, what we're going to do is we're going to plug this number atom into the select. And what the select does is, as it selects the numbers, it sends bangs out the respective outlets. So that when it selects a 0, it sends out the leftmost outlet. When it selects a 1, the next one, and so on. Okay. And if we need some proof, then let's just create a few bangs. There's 4 bangs. I'll put them here. I'll keep moving this guy down. And then connect. I won't connect them all because that will take a while. And plus I'm going to do that in a minute. So as it selects 0, 1, 2, 3. So I think the usefulness of this becomes pretty apparent. We're going to connect the outlets in the order of the pitches. So let's say we want C to play first, and then G to play next, and then B flat to play, and then D, C, E, F, G again, and C. So A gets left out, but that's okay. So what do you think's going to happen? Well, let's take a listen. And of course, wherever I stop it, that's the position that it stops. So let's make it a little faster. So I click the 250. So it's going through the cycle and selecting the notes. Now, one thing that's really cool about this counter object is that the second inlet is a reverse control. So we'll create a bang. Now let's start it again. So now it's going in reverse, or retrograde if you want to be specific about it. So you could see how we could actually come up with some additional patching using some conditional logic and create a really interesting loop using these particular pitches. And we could start to create maybe even a generative experience by altering some of the pitches that go into make note.